Hi, welcome to my data overview. My name is Dr. Sandra Fingal, and thanks for joining me. And the purpose of this presentation is to review the data of my school, which is Frank McLaren High School, a school located in Fulton County. And I want to look back over 3 years worth of data with you, compare the achievement of multiple subgroups, and also identify some trends over the 3-year period of data that I'm reviewing, and identify some areas of concern and for improvement. The mission of Frank McLaren is to provide a personalized learning experience where all students are afforded the opportunity to succeed. We respect the individual needs of students, encourage them to persevere, promote excellence, foster a caring and a creative environment, and emphasize the social, emotional, and intellectual development of each student. Our core values are respect, excellence, and perseverance. So let's look at the enrollment data first of all by gender. Over the 3 years, you can see that the females in the school, they have actually decreased. We started out with 57% female population, down to 49 in 2016, and down to 44. Whereas the male, we're looking at the exact opposite situation. They are increasing at the school from 42 to 51 and continuing to increase up to 56%. When you look at the district, it's more balanced with slightly fewer females in the district schools at 49% and 51% of males. Looking at the enrollment now over 3 years by subgroups, you'll notice that at Frank McLaren High School, we have those who are eligible for free and reduced meals, 100% of the students over each of the 3 years that I'm looking at. We've got students with disabilities starting out in 2015 at 6.1%, and it went up very slightly the next year and continuing to increase the following year, 2017, up to 7.4%. We have very limited numbers over the time frame of limited English proficiency, as you can see right here at just 1%. And then our black students, well, in 2014, 15, the 2015 year, you'll see that we had 95%, and there's a trend downward to 2017 to 89%. Looking at the Hispanic students, you'll notice that the trend is actually going in the opposite direction as we continue to see an increase in the number of Hispanic students. Our white students are very few. In fact, in the year 2016, we had 0. And in the year 2017, we did go back up with just 1 student. No multiracial students, but we'll continue showing you the data of the subgroups as we continue in this presentation. Free and reduced lunch, well, looking over the 3-year period, you can see that according to the district and the actual population that we serve at the school, we have 100% who qualify for free and reduced lunch, while in the district it's trending about 45 to 47% over the same 3-year period. Our student enrollment by grade, if you notice, 2017, we are decreasing in the number of 9th grade students that we're seeing over the 3 years. You can see there's a downward trend. And in the 10th grade, it's beginning to be reflected there also. As you see that we started at 36, we went up to 37, and then we're trending down to 37. 11th grade, we're still seeing it holding pretty evenly in the 60 and 60. And in the 12th grade, you can see that we are also trending down between 2015 and 2016, and going back up slightly in 2017. Looking at the absences for students, so when we break it down into 5 or fewer days absent, you'll see that in 2017 there was actually a trend down from the year before, which was good, but then you can see that was also a spike that we experienced. For those students with 6 to 15 days, these numbers are not looking that good. You can see that we are trending upward, and even though we're holding steady here, it's still an upward trend from 31.3 in 2014. Those students with 15 or more days, well, in 2015 it was very high, 49.1%. We came down to 33%, but you can see that there was still an upward trending in absences, and you know that the absence is going to have a direct impact on achievement. Attendance by ethnicity, we can see that the Black students, African American students, these rates are not satisfactory. 15 or more days, we've got 48.4%, but with Hispanics, it's even more epidemic because there are 60.9% of our Hispanic students with more than 15 days absent, and that's for the year 2015. If you look at what's happening in 2016, we're still seeing larger numbers. Now we see Hispanics with actual measurable 5 or fewer days, which we didn't see in the year before, but we're still seeing these large number of absences in the 6 to 15 day category. This is really a problem for our Hispanic students. It is also a problem for our African American students, but you can see that the trend for Hispanic students, you'll see how that links to achievement levels when we look at what's happening with the milestones, but you would imagine that this is a chronic situation of absences for our Hispanic students. Attendance by the subgroups over those 3 years, looking at the females and the males, you'll notice that we have a greater absence in the males than we do with the females. And also look at the difference between the absences for the non-economically disadvantaged students and the economically disadvantaged students. They're already at a disadvantage economically, and now the attendance is driving that disadvantage even further. The gap is increasing as opposed to decreasing. When we look at the days absent between 15 days, 6 to 15, and 5 and fewer, with the male students, we notice that there is a large percentage of these students who are suffering from this percentage of 15 days or more. 29, that's almost a third of our male population. Students with disabilities, we're also seeing problems with them who are absent for a large number of days, also in that same category. And 6 to 15 days, these categories in red are still also catastrophic to the results that we see on our milestones over these same time periods. The way that we have dealt with attendance is to identify students, their attendance using our eSchool query system. If they have 5 or more unexcused absences, then a contract is put out on the students where the parents are involved, and that's if the students are under 17 years of age. If they have 10 or more absences, then they don't receive the MARTA cards, which they need for traveling to the school. And if parents cannot be contacted by phone, then our social worker is sent out to do a home visit. Looking at the faculty demographics over the 3 years, we are very heavily female influenced in terms of our teachers. As you can see here, we have in the last year 82 versus 74 and 73%. So you can see it's continuing. Well, we did have a dip in between these 2 years here, but we are trending up now with 82% of our faculty being female. The Hispanics, we didn't have any in 2017. We started out with 4.5%. We went down to 4.3%, and now we are at 0% for our Hispanic staff. For the black staff, we started out at 77.3. We increased to 82.6, and we are currently in this range still with 95.5, and with the white population of the teaching staff, we started out at 18.2, and you can see that there has been a drastic decline, and the current figures have declined even further, but this is really representative. This right here and the African American teachers is representative of the student body currently. Our graduation rate over the last 3 years, you can see in comparison to the district, we started out at 49.6% in 2015, and there is a big disparity between our graduation rate and the district graduation rate, but we were a school that was in need of improvement, and the strategies that have been put in place have definitely been working over this time frame. As you notice, we've climbed from 49 to 67% and going closer actually to the district rate, and now we are still even closer at 75%, where the district is at 86.8% on average. And the current figures for the current school year, which are not reflected here, are even closer, where the school has moved up almost in the range of 80% for the graduation rate. Looking at the CCRPI and our College Career and Readiness Index, for the achievement points, we have been continuing to increase with our achievement points. Our progress points also have been increasing very steadily. Achievement gap, you can see that has been it's shrinking. And looking at these points here for exceeding the bar, you can see that these areas are the areas where we have been seeing improvements in the school, especially in the climate rating, where the first time that the school received a 5-star, which is your top rating, was in 2017. The CCRPI score then has been increasing. It's not where we would like to see it as yet, but we are increasing every single year with additional CCRPI points. You'll notice that in this breakdown of the table here, where you can see the points that are being scored for CCRPI, if we are at the beginner level, you'll notice that we don't get any points towards CCRPI. Therefore, the focus in the school was to really target those students who are at the top end of the beginning learning, being very close to the developing learner, and give them as much additional support as we can, because moving into that category, we'll be able to get 0.5, half a point for every learner that we are able to move into this category. So that has been the main focus at this point. Looking specifically now at the geometry milestone results over the past 3 years, 15, 16, and 17. So when you look at the number of students here, you'll see that we are increasing in the number of students that are being tested. We have a large percentage of our students in this beginning range, and you'll notice that they are decreasing in 2017 from 107 students tested, 74 in the range of beginning, but